And you be very careful when you out there demonstrating what's called. I know a lot of you are familiar with it. People that are was with the School of Royale, the Royals. It was called the 720 because the 720 is very dangerous because it can look as though you're playing both sides. Right now, politically, we have a lot of drama going on because it looks as though there's various parties playing both sides. And it's because a lot of people who don't have the trained, educated eye to understand the 720. I'm going to drop a main lesson right here very briefly to help you to understand it. It's a lot of rules, a few rules, not a lot, a few rules, but it's a main rule. And in this main rule, it states that when you are walking on the path of 720, it's similar to walking on a tightrope, meaning that you have to look at it as you're only going to get one shot on whatever path you're on, meaning that when you're there, you're there. There's no, okay, I'll be back, or when, I'm going to do this at this time, when I come back in the future type of thing. When 720, you live directly in what's called the now. And that's why it's very hard for people to understand it, because most people, like, they go to work and they figure I'm going to come back tomorrow. But when you start to demonstrate the 720, you'll get to understand that you can go to work every day, but it's going to be a different paradigm each time you go. Meaning that, yeah, you may be at work and seeing the same people, but you've shifted your energy tremendously from the last time you went to work, meaning that anytime you demonstrate 720, you always have to do some form of a ritual or some form of a energy shift before you move into that particular realm that you're moving into. So for instance, in 720, it would be similar to like people that they say flip-flop with different religions, and they may see them studying one day with, the Buddhists, and then the next minute they're with the Nation of Islam or something like that. And they're like, where they're flipping from different religions, and it's like they're looking at this being two-faced. So when you demonstrate 720, what you got to remember, because especially in business, you have to know this, because in business, a lot of times, if you want to be successful, you have to. It's the way the matrix is set up. You have to move into a higher frequency shift, which is more like a 720, meaning that you have to do various tremendous, drastic initiations a lot of times to fully shift your energy when you move into these higher realms or whatever, 720, and going up even higher a lot of times to other realms that I won't talk about now because I don't want to confuse you. So like, for instance, with 360, I'm just going to give you an example to try to break it down. Like, so what's 720? Well, first of all, let's talk about 360, because this deals with the zodiac. That's a 360 within the zodiac. And you have a negative side of the zodiac and a positive side of the zodiac within each sign. So that makes it 720. This is when you have to get into the paradigm shift. There's always a positive and negative realm or polarity within each sign. They may call it the dark side or dark personality traits. But when you get into the actual frequency of it, because each sign represents stars, right? And these stars are frequencies. So you get into the frequency of it, of the higher levels of the zodiac, you'll notice that it's different realms, the negative and the positive. And you have to learn how to walk or balance your personality, is how they teach you on the astrological level. But I mean, like, when you're demonstrating this with people and in groups, it kind of shifts. This is what I'm talking about now. We're more in Aquarian energy now, the Aquarius energy. So it's a little different. It's still mixed in with the Pisces, with the Piscean energy, but it's mixing up with the Aquarius now. So it's more of and there's a little Aries mixed in with this too as well, going into some other Fucus traits. So a lot of this energy is mixing up, and not to throw you off, but when you're dealing with 720, so people that get involved in different religions, this is why, because they're